to Melanie's Mississippi. This is where we go beyond the headlines to explore the heart of our state. Because here, every story has a soul, and every soul has a story worth sharing. Every week, I sit down with creative minds, bold ideas, and everyday heroes that make our communities shine. Thank you for joining me. This is the first episode of my first podcast. Again, I'm Melanie Christopher, and I have with me WJTV's remarkable woman of 2021, Pauline Rogers. And for over 10 years, she has worked to change the lives of the incarcerated and their families. Welcome to the show, Pauline.
Thank you.
We have talked and talked. I feel like your story is one of the most inspirational I have ever done. And you tell it just like it is, just like it happened. Tell me how you ended up doing what you do with the incarcerated women and how that goes back to really childhood.
How much time do we have?
We have a lot of time.
Well, what makes it goes back to childhood for me, literally. I watched my father be killed at the hands of my mother when I was a child, and it was in self-defense, let me say that. But as a child, you don't understand self-defense. All you know is what you witness and how to tell that. And so my first experience and encounter with any court system was as a child sitting on a pillow, because I had not gained my height yet, on a pillow with a relative to tell what I had witnessed. And that was traumatic. My mother was a loving mother, and it was a matter of domestic violence. So that was my first experience in a courtroom.
And you had brothers and sisters?
I had 10 brothers and sisters, yes.
You then had to
become a parent.
Yeah, very young.
Very young. And I was a church girl. My grandmother was a devout Christian, a Sunday school teacher, and she always told me all my life it was my duty and responsibility to help with the younger sibling. I took that literally, and I was trying to figure out then, how do I help my siblings at this point? And all I knew was church. So I concocted this deceptive plan to get my siblings fed, because I didn't have a job, didn't know how to get one. So I would dress them, look in the local Thrifty Nichols, Penny Pincher, took them to every church within walking distance or whatever building where there was a funeral. Not to go grieve with bereaved families, but to go to get to the repast, to get food.
Now, this was, what year was that, Pauline?
That was in 1967.
Okay. And there was no help for you? I mean, I remember you saying you didn't want them, when we had talked before, you didn't want the family to be split up, and your grandmother did not want that family to be split up. Exactly. You wanted to keep all the children together. And not being put in foster homes, all of that. So that weighed on your mind, too. And then, but it was very creative, though, to go, and you are a creative person, creative to go to, the funerals, because there, of course there was, and you would just load up.
Well, back in the 60s, it's not like it is today. When you get to a repast back then, you could easily leave with a whole casserole, a whole cake, a whole pan of rice, pan of bread, and I would take that food home and I would pray over that food because I didn't steal it. It was given to us. But I knew that the more children that I could take, I felt like the more food I could get. And so I wanted to take every one of them so they could see that we were actually together, we were a family, and we were children, and we could get the food.
That was very good.
But it was this, I knew why I was doing it, and I didn't want to tell other people why I was doing it, because I didn't know the people whose funeral we were attending. Right. And these children would just cry. I cried because it was a sad occasion. And we cried, and I got siblings to this day. I think I cursed them because they just crybabies to me because of that. But that's what started.
That's what started it. And that in itself is just, remarkable, if I can use that word, that you came up with that to do it, but you had to do it. And it shows your determination when you take on a task.
Yeah.
You don't leave anything behind. I mean, but in doing so, it got a little worse, correct?
It got worse, yes. My shoplifting, and that wasn't just shoplifting, let me make that clear, just to feed, I benefited. I was shoplifting everything, and it became a lifestyle. Shoplifting, if I could get away with it, if I could get this piece of jewelry, whatever, to look whatever, I did it. I stole it. So it became the thing that landed me, myself, in prison. My brother, I was cutting his hair with scissors and a comb, and he didn't like it because it left patches. So I went to Sears and Roebuck, stole clippers, and that was the final straw that got me locked up. The first time I got arrested, I had a police officer. I love police officers. I'm not a defund the police person.
No, I know you're not.
I am not. The first time a police officer, and I wished I could find him, he put me in the car, went back in the store. I didn't know what he was doing. He came back. He had a bag, but he drove me home. He gave me a pep talk all the way home, told me to always find somebody. And when I got home, he gave me what I had stolen because he paid for it, and he gave me $7. And back then, $7 was a lot of money. I didn't learn a lesson. I kept shoplifting, and they had a law, 3 strikes and you're out. You went to they called it the big house, which was prison. And that's what landed me in prison, serving a 6-year term. But when I got there, my case was looked at, and I ended up doing a little over half of the time of that 6-year sentence.
Were you so worried still about the family?
Yes, I was. Didn't know how, and that was when volunteers helped me come to grips with. It was never I was never in charge. Christian volunteers, I was never in charge. I was doing that, but the Lord orchestrated everything, even me going to prison. And that's when I learned and landed in the mission of the work that I do now, listening to other women's stories.
Wendy Hatcher played a huge role in your life. Tell us about her. You met her at Parchman.
I met Wendy Hatcher, yes. Wendy Hatcher changed my life. When we went to prison, everywhere you went, you had to be identified by your number. And I still recall my number, 66743. Everywhere you went, you had to identify as 66743 or whatever your number was. And I remember Wendy Hatcher, we called her Chaplain Hatcher. When you weren't denied, I wasn't even classified. I was still in the canary yellow jumpsuit. Everywhere you went, you had to be escorted. And you couldn't participate in anything until you were classified. I had not met the full classification board, which consisted of physical, mental, cognitive, all of these people you had to meet. Well, you weren't denied going to religious services. So I was a church girl, so I went to church service. And it was there that Wendy Hatcher selected me out of all the women in prison to work for her. And she would ask me my name, and I would say 66743. After asking me that several times, she said, "What is your name?" And when she did, I just started to cry. Tears started to fall down my face, because that third time her asking me that, I felt the humanity that she was bestowing upon me, what she was really concerned about, what my name was and not who I was as a number. And when I worked for her, she began to mentor me, and I wanted to be that person that I didn't know. I was just a church girl. I wanted to have that relationship like she talked about in the church services and Bible study that she conducted. And so I never missed work. I wanted to hang around her every day as much as I can, and I absorbed as much of her as I possibly could.
And she was just a fabulous woman.
She was a fabulous
yes,
woman.
She really touched a lot of lives, but probably yours, I have to say, more than any other, because you took everything she told you and you learned from her and you paid it forward.
I was the Ruth and Naomi story in the Bible. That's what Wendy was. I didn't want to let her go, and I did not let her go.
Tell us more.
Well, what I mean by that is, I used to tell her in prison that when I got out, that if she ever got sick and needed somebody to take care of her, she would never go to a nursing home, that I was going to take care of her. You say stuff, you mean it, but that actually happened. Wendy Hatcher got sick. I'm sorry.
I know.
It's hard to talk
It
about
is
her.
because she's such a this woman
Yeah,
she did so much,
so much.
and but she's looking down on us, I think, right
Yeah.
now, and she sees you and what you've done due to her. Really, I mean,
Yeah.
what you've started out
Yeah,
doing exactly what she
yeah.
wanted.
I get choked up talking about. I talk about her every day. It's hard not to.
I
'Cause
know.
every time I move, it's like seeing her.
And if we did see a picture of her,
She looked like the Queen of England. She actually looks like the Queen.
yes, like Queen Elizabeth.
Like Queen Elizabeth.
Yes, a really
Beautiful,
beautiful woman, and just very petite,
Petite.
and
Graceful.
But-
all the etiquette of the Queen is who she was. I mean, but she was from England. So let me say that she was from England.
she had all of that.
It was
and,
she had all of that.
but she was powerful.
Powerful. Did not back down from injustice. She was not racism. She was not white. She was white. She wasn't white. She wasn't black. She was her heart. And the heart is for what was right. That's who she was. She modeled the heart of righteousness every single day for all people. And she fought for that. And she fought for it every day. And she was a one-woman re-entry machine. Even inside of the prison, she fought for what was right, even in people getting out. And it didn't matter. Even for food injustice, she fought for everything by herself, one person, every single day for everybody. She fought for mental health services for people inside the prison. And she had no fear. And we used to wonder, where is this little short lady going? She would stand up against she had more respect and commanded it without even asking for it than the average officer carrying a pistol and a billy club and a taser. She could go in empty-handed and get things done. And everybody wanted to know who this woman was. And so I clung to that. And I still cling to that.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
You were able to get out.
Got out.
What happened then?
I started a reentry home. Wendy Hatcher broke rules. She didn't do criminal activity, but she stretched what she believed in.
The boundaries.
The boundaries. And she allowed me to live with her when I got out of prison. We kept it on the down low. But she did it because she knew it was the right thing to do. And when she died, she actually told me, you can say whatever you want. I did nothing wrong. So whatever, when I'm gone, you can say it. She wrote books, but she didn't record stuff. So she did that. But she did it because it was right. And I can now tell what she did. And she did when she was living. She told the story herself when she was living. But I was allowed to pay forward what she was to me. Her children, who were well able, physically and financially, to take care of her in their home. Her son, retired from technology, millionaire, selling products and what have you, in technology to Bill Gates and beyond, and a daughter that's a lawyer and a registered nurse, and a daughter that's a professional writer. So she had everybody in place that could take care of her, but they allowed me to do it.
They did, didn't they? And again,
they were participants. Let me say that. They were participants. They flew in on occasions. All of us were there by her bedside in her last hour. So it was beautiful. But, I live out the extension of what she did for me.
I know.
Yeah.
And you push the boundaries too.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that you do that. And it has been so rewarding. But you were taking in people too. I mean, as far as her, you living with her, but you've done that too, letting people come in. Not just it could be the kid down the street, or it could be, where you have seen that need and you have paid it forward.
Yes. It's Mississippi, we so far behind. It's like with the governor now having done the first clemency, it was the right thing to do. And I hope that it continues. He did reach out to us, his office, and I'm hoping that he continues it. I'm sending in him 50 names and recommendations. What he does with it, I don't know. But what I see it as, Mississippi is the Bible Belt. And if you're going to do, the scripture says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. And Governor Reeves is a believer. And I'm just believing that that's an extension of what's in his heart that we have seen with this one clemency that will trickle on to many others.
It was a very good move.
A very good move.
And I was so glad to see that, too.
Yeah, me too.
Very much. Well, tell me how you started the Wendy Hatcher home.
Inside a prison. It actually started on paper, listening to women who was in prison saying they had made parole, but they couldn't leave because they didn't have a verifiable address. And I thought, how can you be made parole and still in prison? I didn't, and I still don't understand that. But I thought, well, I can fix that problem. I can give you a place to stay. And I literally started with, people coming out of prison. The first person that I housed, I still have her housed in an urn that actually did not have anybody. She's in an urn. Her name is Ada Joyce. Facebook did not even exist at the time. It was MySpace was the big social media platform. And I posted her on MySpace. Nobody ever claimed her. I knew her mother was deceased. And when Facebook came on the scene, I reposted her. But by this time, I had done a memorial service and opted to have her cremated because I didn't know what to do with her because I'm new at this, trying to do something. So nobody has ever come forth to call, and she is still on the mantle, in an urn.
She's still with you.
She's still with me, yes.
And what had she, what was she in prison for? Do you remember?
It was a drug crime. It's a nonviolent crime of drugs. But I learned a lot I didn't know what the word advocacy was. I learned a lot from Ada about advocacy. She taught me how to go to the library and look in the blue reference book number, whatever, and the cases. So I learned how to go to the state capitol through this lady. I learned a lot from the people in prison because I just had the heart to want to do. But I had Wendy Hatcher and what I learned from church, and I had Ada. And that was my foundation for doing what I do now.
And explain your job. Your job, your life, basically.
Reintegrating women who come out of prison and helping them get back into society and stay on the right track.
As I recall, you told me once that you actually will go to the prison when they're being released and you pick them up because that period of time, whatever that time may be before they get to wherever they're going, is a very fragile time for them.
Picking up at the gate is very fragile. We do not allow, if it's within, some of them can get bus tickets. But if it's within reason of us driving to go get them in Mississippi, we go and pick up every single person so that they don't have a time to make this quick move here or whatever. We pick them up from the gate so that we can actually we know.
They didn't make any stops.
No stops, no moves, none of that. Because we aim to actually help people who want to be helped. Now, I'm formerly incarcerated, but I have zero tolerance for the crazy and the foolishness. We will walk with you every step. And I don't know if proud is the word, but I'm glad to say that nobody has ever gone back to prison.
And how many have come through?
Oh, we've been trying to keep up with it, but well over 1,800 people have come through us.
It's just amazing. I mean, it's amazing. And I have had the privilege of being able to talk to several of them, and it was a godsend for them. I mean, they just needed guidance, and they needed a place to stay.
A place to stay. We got our first lady, which she didn't tell me. She's missing limbs. She's currently in the home. She didn't tell me, but another lady in prison called to tell me about the lady. And she told me that the lady was missing limbs. And I was like, she didn't tell me that. And I almost said we won't take her. And I was like, no, Lord, you allowed her to come to us for a reason. But the lady also said that she's one of the most active, vibrant, get up and go attitude than some people with
Yay.
full limbs. And she has been proving that ever since she's been at the home. She is a go-getter.
My goodness.
Yes, she is.
And was she diabetic and lost limbs, or what accident?
No, an accident, and she got sick and got sepsis. And in order to save her life, they had to cut her limbs, amputate. Yes.
And so she's there now.
She's there now.
And
doing well, doing wonderful.
You have a lot of success stories of the women who, when they finally get out.
Yes.
Do you talk to them? Do they come back and talk?
One lady just left this morning who did 31 years in prison, came through us, moved to Grenada, doing exceptionally well. She came and she had a week off before the holidays, came and stayed a week with the women and left this morning. So I love it when that happens, that people want to come back. Because, I mean, we don't say, here, do this, do that. We steward them in the path of where they're trying to take their lives. We don't give them a 1, 2, 3, a ABC, this is what you do. Whatever you want your life to look like, we walk with you along the path. We give them what we think that should happen. And, we got one there, she is a giver. And you have to watch people who have a giving heart, because they will stop on every corner with somebody holding a sign and say, here's $1. And they'll tell, look, the nature of a man, any man, black, white, Hindu, it doesn't matter, stand on a corner begging. That's not the nature of a man. Women don't. You make yourself a sugar mama, and that's how they see you. And we have to have those tough kind of conversations with, no, you can't do that. Mm-hmm. So when I show them the difference, when I'm stopping and talking to somebody holding up a sign, why are you standing here? Why is the sign? Who are you? Where did you come from? We have pictures, name, whatever, of every single person we encounter on the street. And after a while, if they're on the up and up, or if they're not, when they see us coming, they're moving from the corner. But it's that serious for us.
Mm-hmm. I know
not
it is.
To perpetuate dysfunction and trying to get the homeless, unhoused organizations now, not to perpetuate dysfunction and homelessness. You have to case manage people to see why, because if you don't, you creating people where all they're going to do is stand in the line for the next box, the next dollar, because you're always handing out. We hand out, but we don't create dysfunction. If just because it's free doesn't mean you go in line and you get it. It is for necessary. The government, if you're a believer in the Bible bit, you keep your hands extended up. If you don't, you keep your hands extended out to people. What am I going to slap in your hand? And we try to show them the difference in when your hands up. Yeah, times will be tough. Situations and circumstances will be tough sometimes. But if you keep your hands out to Melanie, I'm going to always be looking for you to fill my cup. And that's not the real way to live life.
It isn't. It isn't a way of life.
It's not a way of life.
It's not. Let's talk just a bit about our homeless situation, because I know you encounter that all the time. We encounter it here, at where we are in Jackson. And you're giving me good ideas here of how to talk and what to do. You just automatically just want to give them money or food or whatever. How are we going to solve this? How did we get so homeless?
It's individual. And the people with resources, you have to understand, it is our duty. To whom much has been given, much is required. We have to see ourselves, if we have the resources, it is our duty and responsibility to share those resources, but not in the manner of having lines where people are getting food every day or what. You have to case manage by individual, by home. You have to. That's a part of it. So, but a part of what we've been doing for years, I believe, Melanie, is the unhoused population. We have shelters. In the majority of the shelters, at 7 o'clock a.m., they open the doors. They put the people out. They come back at 5 o'clock, if there is a bed. That same person that had a bed at 7 a.m. may not have a bed at 5 p.m. So we have to start looking at the funders that are funding the dysfunction. We're not solving the problem, we're perpetuating dysfunction. So we got to look at the funders that continue to pour money into shelters and housing providers who are not solving problems, but just doing feeding, good feeding. If you want to have a good feeding outlet to see who can come. If you remember the movie In the Pursuit of Happiness, in that scene where I think it was Garner, I can't remember his first name, that was in that story. He had his child. He was trying to get this sewing machine fixed, and he couldn't get it fixed. It was a microscope or something, couldn't get it fixed. He had a bed. When he came back, because he had to work overtime, he no longer had a bed and had to live in stores and whatever just to go to the bathroom. It was a true story. And that's the same thing that we're doing. We have to evaluate how we're doing the unhoused population. And then some of it with mental illness. And I have encountered mental illness people, I have taken them personally, gone to get prescription, and if they're out. And so a lot of these people that are mental illness are without medication because the pharmacist didn't have that particular medication in. And these psychotic medication or psychotropic medications, if you don't take them right, you can set a person in a worse predicament. And so we got a lot of that going on that needs to be evaluated and assessed and case managed in order to get a grip on some of this.
So what are you doing to tell people about that? Who are you talking to? State reps and,
State reps. I'm a member of the mayor's unhoused population. I had to push the needle to be on that committee because I was like, okay, we're missing the mark. And then we need people that are actually living unhoused to be there. And they do have people that are on that committee that are actually living unhoused. But you got to have philanthropic givers that there to listen to both sides of it to see. And I understand that people want to give money to where they have a proven record with that giver. But that proven record is not the only metric to look at when it comes to giving funding. Are you solving a problem? Or are you perpetuating dysfunction? You have to look at the whole picture and not to be afraid to try something different. And we have women who were pregnant inside prison, and we have ladies that are still currently incarcerated that would go, and because health care was so bad, that would actually go out in the yard on the prison, and I would call her name, who's still incarcerated, been there almost 4 decades. She is a health nut, and she went in the yard, and she would pick certain grass. I don't know what leaves and grass, and she gave it to one lady that's been out for decades. She saved this lady and her baby. She told her to chew this grass, swallow the serum from the leaf, but don't swallow it.
Chew it, but don't swallow.
Chew it, but don't swallow it. And I don't know what kind of leaf it was, but that baby was delivered healthy while she was in prison and is still living today.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's the kind of stuff survival that I've encountered with women and these women I listen to. Is a phenomenal lady who was involved with the killing of a police officer in Florida. She was not the trigger person. She was with the person. She was on drugs and high who deserves a second chance.
And 4 decades she's been?
4 decades she's been in prison. She's a paralegal, and she probably knows more about parole reform in the state of Mississippi, what's missing, than anybody in the state of Mississippi, because she studies it every single day and has been instrumental in helping a lot of people change their lives around, get GEDs while they're in prison, and help people become better people in prison that needs a second chance. And she wants to go back to Florida, and I know she has earned that right. I could say right, because she's done all the work. She's done everything that the courts has required.
And more, probably.
And more, exhausted everything what the system say, and deserves a second chance. So it's people like that I've learned been around, that I do what I do and do it more. And sometimes I'm not doing what I know to do. It's recommendation from some of them on the inside.
Because they're
Because
there
they're
now.
there.
They're there.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you ever have the chance to talk to the parole board?
This parole board, no. They don't want to be talked to. I've reached out to this parole board on many occasions, but they have not responded. I have been to hearings with women, and all the way up until for them to walk behind the glass to talk to the parole board, they have denied my presence. So they don't want to be talked to.
It's got to be tough, and it's got to be sad, just very sad.
It's tough and sad because the paper that's in front of the parole board is never going to change. The record of what they read will not change, but the heart of the person that they're reading about has changed. So what they need, in addition to the paper that they're reading, is the changed heart on that paper while they're reading about the person. Because the record's not going to change, and a gavel can't change the heart. No court can order a heart change, but the people that I'm talking about are heart changed. And that's what the parole board does not see, is the humanity in which the person has flipped the coin and made a change for themselves and for the people on the inside, and better work environment for the staff that show up every day.
What I don't understand is why they won't allow someone like you, who has this knowledge, and you could. I guess they need, an advocate. Mm-hmm. I thought that they got someone like that when they went before the parole board. No,
the governor, and I don't know if he had a reentry task force, and the late Reverend, who was formerly incarcerated, whom I was incarcerated with, and my husband was incarcerated with, was on that. But I don't know of the significant change that occurred while that, because one or two times I was privy to those meetings.
Right, right.
But we need that.
Definitely.
We need it.
Definitely, because don't we have some quite elderly women?
Yes. Who is 83 now, was told by this current parole board to come back, and she was set off 8 years, and told to come back and see them when she's 85. Nothing else she can do. She's been incarcerated 37 years. There's nothing else she can do. No degree. She doesn't need a high school diploma, a college degree, a PhD program, nothing. She's 83. She got COVID when COVID hit. She bounced out of that. She's had some health challenges now. We've been told just a few days ago that the inmate population think that she has had a stroke. And she called me Saturday, and she does sound. You could hear in her voice. Although she said she was fine, you could hear in her voice something is different.
Mm-hmm. And she has not gotten.
She has not been taken off grounds for medical attention. So and her family wants her home. It's nothing else.
She has a family to go to.
She has a family to go to. If she doesn't, we'll take her.
Of course.
And
yes.
and people like that will save the taxpayers money. If family members and whoever want to take people, take that burden off the taxpayers and let them go home. Another guy who's serving 65 years on a mandatory marijuana drug charge has been in prison over 36 years, a nonviolent offender. He was there for a technical violation, but it's nothing else he can do. He's the #1 welder in the state. He actually could get out of prison and do extremely well working at some place that does welding and do well. And if you go down to the state capitol, all of those black benches and light receptacles, trash receptacles, he does those. I have his designs, most of them.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
You think the governor is aware of him?
He's on the list. I don't know if he's aware of him, but he's on the list, for recommendation for clemency. And I'm not recommending people that I don't believe in.
No, I know.
That I haven't seen, their transformation.
Right.
These are people that I believe in, that I am willing to walk alongside if the governor would grant them clemency or second chance to walk alongside, and he could keep a track record of their record, because we would be doing the tracking on his behalf to let him see that this was a good move of these
Of
people,
course, yes.
So it's a lot of them. Another guy's been in prison almost 60-something years. He was let out once, and it was a crime dealing with a Klansman from decades ago. And a white gentleman calls me every day almost, said that he's willing to house this man, that he knows the case, and if he had been in the same situation, he would have done the same thing, that the guy absolutely did not have a choice in the crime that he committed. But it's nothing else he can do.
And he's how old?
He is 78, I believe, 78 or 79.
So
I'm just saying you got cases like this.
Yes.
They just on taxpayer dollars, costing the state millions of dollars every year when we can do money better, spend money better if we would grant second chances.
With the women, we have your house, of course, but what about the men? Do the men have a place they can go?
The men have a place they can go. We have a New Way, Mississippi with Larry Perry, and I think he has contracts by the state, with the state. More is a program that have housing for men. Of course, Gateway.
Right. They do a good job.
Yeah,
Yes.
and Billy Broomfield House have
Right.
housing that men could get out. The men don't have as much struggle as the women do. Women would take in a man just because they want a man. That's just the truth. Men have the least struggle with finding housing than the women do, and better resources when it comes to getting out. It's more expensive to house women. Women have more needs. The women are the primary caretakers of their children. So if you get a woman that comes out and she have children, you got to take on the reentry needs of both the woman and the
Her
children.
kids, yeah. In wrapping up, what does the future hold? What do you want to see?
The future holds, we have 27 acres of land over in South Jackson. What the future holds for us is we would like to fully develop that property. It's undeveloped property. Develop it, build a community with formerly incarcerated people, and it be self-sustained with a beauty shop, all of the trimmings on the property where they come out of prison, that they already in a job, and these jobs provide a service for the public, that the public can come, pay for a service, a quality service, and get benefit cleaners, because they already clean clothes, and we're doing that in
Right.
prison. But just to create jobs, common labor jobs and high-skilled jobs that we can refer them to coming out. Ingalls Shipyard have asked us for a program to put together something to send to them with our workforce development program.
Yes.
Well, they will hire people when they come out, and we've been able. My husband was one of them. Worked there for a period of time before moving here, and so they want to extend that, and so we're excited about that.
We just got to get them out.
We just got to get them out.
We got to get the parole board, and we've got
get
to
'em
just
out.
have maybe have more influence on the parole board with people like you who do this.
So the goal is to get them out and get more better policies and legislation on the books, and to reform some of the. We don't need to keep doing a lot of policy. We need to reform some of the legislation that's already on the book to get people out.
Right. That's what we need.
Yeah.
As always, you're amazing. You're remarkable. You're just one of my favorite people in the whole world.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. My first podcast. I couldn't have had a better guest.
Thank you.
And friend.
Thank you.
All right. Pauline, thank you so much for being with us. And thank you for listening. This will do it for us for now. I'm Melanie Christopher, and this is Melanie's Mississippi.